Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people that you do business with. And real excited today to have Dan Catzere and JD Hess, the founders of Omnia Lacrosse, on the podcast. It's a sport that our family has really grown a lot of interest in. My son loves playing, and they do an outstanding job with the Omnia program. So I want to educate people on how you get involved in the sport and what opportunities are available coming up with Omnia. So JD and Dan, I know you guys have busy schedules, but thanks so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us. Really excited to get on here and kind of talk about our sport and the reasons why we got into it. So thanks for having us.
So I'll start with you, Dan. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, your passion for lacrosse, your background in lacrosse, and why you're still involved so much in coaching.
Yeah, it's probably a long list. And I don't know if we got enough time for, but it's been an awesome road, and it's been really exciting, especially these last couple of years. But I got into lacrosse because I started playing probably in middle school, a little bit late in middle school, especially if you're thinking about it now and our kids. We've got U10s that are going, a lot with us. So it's awesome. But I got going in middle school. I played in high school, played in college, and I got into college coaching the year after I was done with college at Davenport University. I went to East Grand Rapids, and we had a lot of fun. And I think that was one of the reasons. The team camaraderie, being on a team, really focusing and working on something bigger than just ourselves, is one of our, that's what we love and that's what we do it for. So, been around for a while. I've been around Michigan, coached at Grand Valley, coached at Michigan State. Now I'm in my 5th year at University of Detroit Mercy, where I coached the defense. And then obviously we started up Omnia a couple years ago. So our background is pretty extensive. We also ran travel teams before we started Omnia, and we're in it because it's awesome. It's fun. It teaches the kids so much more about life than it really does on the field, but also it's an avenue for us. And we know lacrosse very well, but we can also teach things like being on time, working together. What's a common goal? How do we get guys that are from different backgrounds to kind of think alike and to help each other? And then ultimately that common goal, whether it's to win, okay, or to win a championship, it's all the same. Okay. So we're just, we're a couple of normal guys, but love to compete, and we love to get together when we're on the field and kind of work towards a common goal.
And JD, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I definitely share the same passion as Dan as coaching. I got into the game middle school as well, 6th grade. I was a baseball convert, and turned out to be the best decision of my life. This is what I do for a living now, and it's the best job in the world. So I grew up in the Birmingham area. Went to CU Home for high school. Went to U of D Mercy for college, played there. That's where Dan and I met. He joined the staff my last year as a player, and then unfortunately I got hurt my last year and had to end my career a little bit earlier than expected, but it turned into a great opportunity to allow me to be on the U of D Mercy coaching staff as a grad assistant, doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, operations, kind of managing the team, and then helping out on field where it was needed. So I think I learned a lot about management in those 2 years as a grad assistant, and that carried over eventually into Omnia. So like Dan said, we were running some travel teams before this. Dan got Omnia off the ground and running, and I was there shortly after. And we started with 4 or 5 teams. We're up to 15 now. We've got 5 teams in Grand Rapids alone. We're pushing 250 kids in the program. The growth from a numbers standpoint has been pretty remarkable. We see that with lacrosse in general in the state of Michigan. Numbers are exploding. You got community teams with over 100 kids the program playing, it's awesome. It's great to see. And, we feel extremely blessed to be doing this as a day job and to, have the ability to impact the lives of young men in a positive way. So, we love what we do. It doesn't feel like work. And we're super excited about the future and where it's going to go.
Just quickly, I guess for either of you that wants to answer this, what do you think is behind the emergence of lacrosse? I used to be a high school sports writer 10, 15 years ago, and I remember hearing people say that there's declining numbers in baseball. A lot of people like you, JD, that went from baseball to lacrosse. And you think it's just that people weren't exposed to this sport? It was kind of started on the East Coast and has made its way over here. What can you pinpoint that's led to the emergence in lacrosse?
Yeah, I think that is, definitely a reason. I think it's just kind of naturally made its way over to the Midwest. And, we're not just talking about Michigan. You've got hotbeds in Ohio. You've got hotbeds in Chicago. Minnesota has a lot of strong programs. So I think it was just kind of, it was a matter of time before, the game kind of made its way over here. Don't want to rag on baseball by any means. I like nothing better than going to a Tigers game at Comerica Park in the summer. But I think lacrosse is a little bit more fast paced, up tempo than your average baseball game. And I think for a lot of kids that are, playing football and playing basketball and playing hockey, it's kind of a natural, crossover there because it is action packed. It's up tempo. There's really no downtime. And there are a lot of transferable skills in these other sports that, you see these kids bring to the lacrosse field. So I think it's kind of multi-faced, but, that's kind of my take on it.
And this is kind of a difficult question here, and I want to talk about Omnia later and all the opportunities with Omnia, but to kind of set the tone for people that are listening that are curious about lacrosse that have really no idea exactly what the sport is, can you give me kind of some bullet point overview of what exactly the sport is and just a little bit behind the strategy of it?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I mean, lacrosse is a fast-paced, up and down game. The object of the game essentially is to score a ball. Okay, is to put the ball in the back of the net. If you haven't seen it on TV or social media, it's really set up kind of like soccer. And we've got midfielders, we've got attack, we've got defense, and we've got a goalie. Okay, so if you can kind of picture that, and then I always say I think soccer and hockey are kind of like the two in betweens. Okay, so the stick handling, the finesse, being able to pass, being able to score, finding the 2-on-1s and finding open areas and lanes is what we want to do. Then ultimately, there is defense that try to stop them, and it's a physical game. And I think that's why, going back to that last point, is why are so many kids getting into this game? Well, just like JD, just like a ton of guys, I played baseball as well, and I kind of saw myself sitting in the outfield like twiddling my thumbs. And I wanted to get back to, I played football and basketball growing up, very transferable, like JD has said. And a lot of those skills that you take from football or basketball can be plugged right into lacrosse. So when we talk about picks and pick and rolls like basketball, it's very, very the same, or transferable, just like defense. Okay, we need to communicate, we need to work as a team, and a lot of those things that we're doing on the lacrosse field, or the reason why some kids are really good at lacrosse is because they are playing other sports and they start to figure out, okay, hey, we can do this the same. And essentially, for an offensive guy, finding space, getting your hands free and letting one go is the same thing as getting shot off in basketball or getting shot off in hockey, and just like so many other sports. So, it's a great game. It's fast paced, it's up and down, it's physical, and it's just a ton of fun.
And I think it's interesting how it translates to other sports too. You're seeing guys get drafted in the NFL that didn't play college football. That the Patriots drafted a receiver that they saw a lot on the lacrosse field. Northwestern's basketball team brought in one of the top college lacrosse players as a transfer a couple of years ago. So it takes a lot of skill, obviously, to play this sport, but it translates well, I think, to other sports. And one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you guys on too is we have had a lot of friends that have asked us, how do you get started in this sport? They have younger kids. They know that we're involved in the sport. Where do you begin? Where do you get started? I know that's kind of a loaded question, but for anybody that's listening to this, hey, I would love to have my son or daughter try this sport. What's the starting point to get involved in lacrosse?
So I think lacrosse is such a unique and awesome sport because you can do a lot of it on your own. As long as you have a stick and a ball and a brick wall to throw against, that's all you really need to get started. You can go buy a starter stick at your local pro shop down the street for 40-50 bucks probably. You find a wall at a school and you just start throwing that thing. I equate lacrosse to riding a bike when it comes to like a beginner level. You're not going to ride a two-wheel bike before you master the training wheels. You're not going to get to the training wheels before you master the tricycle. Lacrosse is kind of the same way. You're probably not going to get to that next step unless you can pass and catch, pick up a ball off the ground. And again, that's all stuff that you can do on your own. Going back to your first question then of like teams and the number of kids that are playing, that's a beautiful thing about this game, especially in this area right now, is there are opportunities for any skill level to hop on a team and join a team. It's all about, I think, understanding each program and what they have to offer and what the program goals are and what the individual goals are, so I think, again, it's such a beautiful sport because it's all internal. If you want to be good at this game, you can. You don't have to be the biggest, fastest, strongest dude to be the best. We see guys. I played with a guy, Shane Adams, Canadian kid, about 5'8", 150 pounds, soaking wet. Guy would score 50 goals a game playing Division I lacrosse because he worked on it and he worked on his craft and he understood the game. So to get started, all you need is that stick and a wall and a little bit of an intrinsic motivation and passion. That's really it.
Yeah, I'll add on to that real quick. And I think these kids have it a lot better than what we used to have it. So when we were talking about film and, kind of upping our game or just getting to even know the game, we didn't have YouTube and we didn't have, Instagram and all that stuff. And we tell our guys, hey, be a student of the game and go watch these guys that are in it right now, because you're going to pick up a lot and you're going to learn from these guys. So we use the analogy of, LeBron James obviously studied Michael Jordan and wants to imitate him. So we say that with our guys. Okay. So let's look at the best level, or let's look at some Division I guys. Okay. And we want to imitate what those guys are doing on and off ball. So, I think that's a little bit step further as what JD's saying. Because I truly do believe in what JD is saying too, where, hey, all you need is a stick and a ball and you can go have some fun in the backyard. Obviously a goal or a wall helps, but, just get into, a couple passes with your dad or with your buddy and really just starting to figure out, okay, how do we catch? How do we throw? Okay, those are just some big games or big things within the sport. So just kind of going out there and having some fun with it. That's honestly the best way.
Yeah, so it's good to know it's easy for people to get involved in this sport. And on that topic of opportunities, I want to talk about Omnia and the growth of your program and all the great things that you're doing with that. So let's go back to when you formed Omnia. What was the motivation behind that, and what's your kind of vision as this program continues to grow?
Yeah, I think there was, a multitude of reasons why we started our own, but really it was is what we saw in the past, okay, who we worked for and why we want to do it. So really what we call Omnia is a player-driven program. Okay, so what do the kids need? What do the parents need? What do they need to succeed? And we just want to perform, or we just want to have that platform for the kids. Okay, so practices weekly, tournaments, showcases. We really want to encompass everything. So Omnia to us means everything. Okay, lacrosse to us is everything. And what we want to provide is a safe place for these kids to come, learn, and develop. Truthfully, and we really believe that we can. What we did and why we created our own is because we've seen some things that have worked in the past, some things that obviously have not worked in the past. And we just wanted to create a place where there's not a lot of businesses or companies that can work with people like myself and JD and KO over in Grand Rapids. And we love it. We get to work with our friends, and that's a unique opportunity for us as well. And then ultimately, we want to make sure that these kids are developing, and these kids do have the opportunity to play at the next level. So a ton of things that we emphasize is the development, setting goals for the kids, reaching these goals, whether they're short-term or long-term goals. We want to help these kids, and we want to give them confidence. When I was playing, there wasn't a lot of outside help that was really helping us to say, hey, you guys should be playing at these places, or you should even look at these places, or this is even how you do it. So what we want to provide is the guidance and the counsel to make sure that you guys, the parents, the players, everybody that we're kind of working with, you guys do have these opportunities, and you guys are feeling good about them. And the process is always, it could be a long process. Riley, your son is only in 7th grade. We're going to see him grow, and we're going to mature, and we love that. So when a kid does go to that next level and he calls us up and say, hey coach, we just committed, it's a pretty special thing, because we can really see these kids grow.
And Dan just mentions, a kid committing, right? So for anyone that doesn't know that lingo, committing to go play in college. So I think that is part of our vision too. We understand that there are endless opportunities for young men and women in the game of lacrosse to get a college education based on, their ability to play lacrosse. And it's very unique. There are opportunities for all different types of players. Obviously, you have your D1s, your D2s, your D3s. There's junior college. There's club lacrosse. There are opportunities galore for these kids to use lacrosse to get a college education. And for all the parents out there, there's money that you can get off, as well. If your kid's good at lacrosse, if your kid is a smart kid, most importantly, you can get a lot of money off. And Dan and I had a 45-minute conversation last night with a player, a sophomore, a really, really good sophomore, one of our best sophomores, who's just starting his process. And he's a smart kid. He's going to go play at a really good school, and he's going to get a lot of money off college. So, that is definitely part of our vision is seeing that through with these kids from, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Okay. Yeah. We're probably not talking a whole lot about, what kind of scholarship you're going to get and what colleges you're looking at. But we want to take the steps to get there at those younger ages, so that when you are in 9th, 10th, 11th grade and the recruiting process starts to pick up a little bit, you're prepared and you know what to do. And if playing lacrosse in college is something that you want to do, then yeah, let's go for it. That's another just great thing about this game is if you want to play college lacrosse, there's a home for you. It doesn't matter, your skill level, to be totally honest with you, you can find a home. So that's a big part of what we do. And it's something that we love. We love having those conversations, and we love setting goals with the kids and ultimately seeing them out. Ryan, I've known Riley since he was 4th grade. And in a few years, if he's committed to go play college lacrosse somewhere, that's going to be pretty sweet. So, and if he doesn't, it's obviously okay too. But those kind of moments and relationships are really, why we do this and why we love to do it.
Trust me, man, when I look at costs of college and how high they add up, I make sure Riley listens to everything you guys say, follow your lead, because,
Yep.
there certainly are opportunities out there for him. And I really like those goal setting meetings you have. It's fun to listen in on those and just talk about stuff completely outside of the lacrosse field. And that's cool, Dan, that you say that stuff was unavailable to you when you were younger. And that just really adds to the relationship you have with the team. I just think it's really cool. So what opportunities do people have with Omnia? I know you've kind of become year-round basically at this point. For people listening now, what is their next opportunity to be able to be a part of Omnia?
So the way it kind of breaks down, like you said, you do have an opportunity to play with us year-round. every August we hold tryouts. So we'll hold another tryout in August of 2021. To be frank with you, we expect a lot of people to be there, and that's based off numbers from year one, jump into year two. Between Detroit and Grand Rapids, we had over 500 kids at tryouts, and I think it's only going up from there. So every August you have an opportunity to join the family. We break things down seasonally. So we have a fall season that runs, September to November. We recently this year really got into box lacrosse, which is a whole nother, I think, conversation to have. But after our fall season, we jump into a winter / box lacrosse season that goes, early December to about mid to late February. This year, we also added spring teams. So for our 8th graders on down, if you want to play spring with us, you have that opportunity. And then the summer season is really kind of our meat and potatoes, where we're going a few days a week. We're going to a couple tournaments, throughout the summer, and we're out there competing. So really, to answer your question, every August is kind of the best opportunity to join. And then you really have an opportunity to play as much as you want. And I do want to add too, we do offer the opportunity to play lacrosse year round as much as you want with us, but we also support multi-sport athletes. Let's make that clear right now. Dan and I were both multi-sport athletes in high school. I played 3 sports. I didn't play travel lacrosse growing up. And I honestly think playing football and hockey as well as lacrosse helped me, play in college. So we're never gonna tell a kid that he can't play hockey because he needs to play box lacrosse with us. We're never gonna tell a kid, it's January, you should be going to lacrosse practice instead of basketball practice. We're not gonna do that kind of stuff. Because we believe in that, and we believe that the multi-sport athlete is a better lacrosse player than just the kid that plays lacrosse.
Dan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think we also do offer a few more things, and what we do is we do set up camps with professional players around the different leagues. So PLL, we had Rob Pennell and Tucker Durkin come out last summer, who is open to everybody. Okay, so sometimes it's hard with travel end programs, the higher end travel programs, to try to get in and squeeze in, after the August date. But we do offer camps, clinics, instruction to everybody, and those are a great thing for, the beginners kind of who are just trying to get into the sport and trying to figure out, why not learn from the best. So, we'll be offering more summer camps this summer, both in Grand Rapids and Detroit, and with guys who are just, outstanding ambassadors of the game. We're looking to get more PLL guys in, and we've got a great staff where we've got Charlie Hayes, who plays on the Denver Outlaws. We've got Josh Zubinville, who plays professional NLL for the Rock. So these guys are part of our program full time. And then we also will bring in some guys, for a couple weeks just to run camps and really to have fun with guys and to spread the knowledge in the game. So, grow the game has always been a tag for lacrosse. We want to grow the game. We love it. We think more kids should have a stick in their hand, and things like social media that we've already touched on, those things are really growing the game. So when we post something or we want people to see it, it's for a reason, and we want guys to or kids to really see the enjoyment of the game, and to see, hey, you don't have to be an all-star, you don't have to play on one of these super high-end travel teams just to have fun. And I always go back to that. Listen, Omnia is not for everybody. Okay, it's for a select amount of kids. Okay, we love it, but also, you can just play in high school. You can just play on a local team. That's completely fine. And I think, more kids with a stick in their hand is better for the game. So, we certainly support that as well.